Chance to react to tonight's Lakers game.
It's time for the Lakers postgame show tonight.
This is the Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN. Call now to be part of the Lakers postgame show and react on the game.
It's time for the Lakers postgame show as we recap Game 76 of the season for the Purple and Gold from Toronto. Lakers versus Raptors is the final.
Lakers basketball is the final.
877-710 ESPN.
This is the Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now.
Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
And a 6-game road trip is in the books, and it has been a very successful road trip for the Lakers. They close it out with a 125-120 win in D.C. over the Wizards. I am not going to oversell this thing as the most inspiring effort the Lakers have had this season, or the most focused effort they've had this season, or the best they've looked this season, because everybody who actually watched this game would know that I am completely full of bleep if I say that. That is not what happened at all. The Lakers spent a lot of this game losing focus, I think playing with their food, probably ready to get back to LA as soon as possible. They also know they've got Thursday and Friday off before Saturday's matinee against Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think, like a lot of teams on a long road trip, they are just ready to get the thing over with, especially when they can see that home stretch coming. And they played a lot like a team in that sort of mode. It led to the Wizards getting off to a great 19-8 start in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Washington was really scorching from the field, but the Lakers pretty quickly regained a lead that they never gave up, and ultimately that's what matters at this point in the game, particularly when they've got at this point in the season, particularly when they've got a couple games to rest up. Fantastic performance from Anthony Davis. 35 points on 10 of 17 shooting from the field, 15 of 15 at the line. He had 10 free throws in the first quarter alone, 18 rebounds, 3 on the offensive glass, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Hell of a stat from the Stat Muse folks. Anthony Davis leads all active players in games with at least 35 points and 15 rebounds. He also leads all active players in games with at least 2 steals and 2 blocks. He did both tonight. That is really impressive. The Wizards had absolutely nobody with the size or skill to keep up with Anthony Davis. And if anything, the Lakers probably didn't capitalize on it enough, but AD really did a lot of damage in this game. He spoke with Spectrum Sportsnet in the walk-off. Here's what he had to say.
All right, Anthony Davis, it was a long trip. A couple of different instances of 3 games in 4 nights. This game, finally get over the hump in the fourth quarter. What did it take, though, to go 5-1 on this road trip?
Everything we got. To start the road trip, going to double overtime against Milwaukee. Tough battle, and then follow it up with a back-to-back with Memphis. And just been at it, even though we're played teams that necessarily isn't playing for anything and living out of playoff contention, they still play hard. A lot of offense. This Washington team can score. Kuz, JP, got role guys who make plays. So, we just got to stay locked in. Got to figure out how to play with the lead. But it took a lot of mental toughness to finish this road trip the right way.
Yeah, you guys had to check back in at the end there. Did you use that as a leadership moment to some of the young guys and just say, like, hey, come on, guys, close it out?
Yeah, they come up, give up 3 threes, uncontested. When the threes are the only thing that can get them back in the game. And then after that, we combated with a turnover. They cut it to 5, and we just had to get a stop. So, for us vets, we just want to come in and seal a game. But our young guys got to learn how to play with the lead, especially when our guys check out. And them guys basically throwing the white flag and just knowing the game where, they can only get back in it with threes. So it's a learning experience for our young guys, but still able to get the win.
Last one for you, so you can actually go and try to get out of here and eventually back to Los Angeles. You won 9 of 10 games, but still in the 9 seed. Any frustration? You just think, hey, you got to keep controlling what you can control.
Control what we control. Keep playing winning basketball. Keep winning basketball games, and let the chips fall where they may. We can't control, what happens as far as seeding, but we control if we continue to play these last, I think, 5 games that we have, and try to go 5-0 and see what happens after that.
All right, thanks. We'll get some rest.
And that was Anthony Davis speaking with Mike Trudell, Spectrum Sportsnet, the walk-off interview. No shock that he would be the player of the game, driven by your Southern California Toyota dealers. We make it easy. It's funny. He also talked about the lack of progress the Lakers have been making moving up the standings. I believe they have won 21 of their last 31 games. I know that they have won 8 of their last 9. And there was a recent show my brother Brian and I did for Locked On Lakers, the podcast that we do, available 5 days a week. Anywhere you get your podcast, there's also a YouTube component. First segment, Funchy. I just dove right in. DeAndre, I just said, screw it, man. I am going for it right away. But anyway, it was right before the 3-game homestand, beginning with the Hawks up to this last game against the Wizards. It was right after the game that Anthony Davis got hit in the eye against Golden State, had to leave that game. The Lakers lost. But we had talked about that being the softest part of the impending schedule for the Lakers, the remaining games. And we had said that if the Lakers were going to try to move up the standings, the baseline record they needed to have would be 7-2 over those 9 games. They actually did one better with 8-1. Like, the Lakers have been playing extremely well of late. I mean, this is going to sound like a backhanded compliment, but I don't mean it. They spent most of this season, particularly once they were back up above 500, they were the only team in the NBA with a record above 500 and a negative point differential for several months and a good chunk of time while they were above 500. They are now in the plus section of the point differential. It's just plus 0.4, but that's in part because it takes time to build up that point differential, and the Lakers haven't spent that much time in the positive, but they clearly are playing well. They're 8-2 of their last 10. Maybe they get some luck tonight. The Cavaliers are in Phoenix. You obviously need to be rooting very hard for the Cavs to put a beat down on the Suns. I believe, not 100% sure, but I believe Donovan Mitchell is returning for this game. So that's really potentially good news for the Lakers.
Also, Phoenix hasn't been playing well.
You know what? They always seem to play well, though, Funchy, whenever the Lakers need them to play badly.
Right.
Like, they similar to, the Clippers couldn't figure it out last night against the Kings.
Yeah.
The Clippers, by the way, they're not playing well at all.
Also, I just saw a report Kawhi is not playing for them tomorrow against Denver.
No, he's not. He had to get knee treatment.
Scary times if you're a Clipper fan.
Yes, it is. But the Lakers could have used some help with Sacramento losing to the Clippers, because unlike the situation with Phoenix where the Lakers have the tiebreaker, the Lakers do not have the tiebreaker against the Kings. We know this because they haven't beaten the Kings since, 2000.
Since Vlade Divac was the center.
Well, it's fun. It's funny. I was looking this up because it's been well publicized. Anthony Davis's struggles in head-to-head matchups against Domantas Sabonis. He is 0-10 in the 10 games he's played, and sometimes these stats get thrown around in ways that are kind of meaningless, like they're not really matching up or whatever. But in the case of AD and Sabonis, these are two guys who are directly matching up against each other, and it's become really clear, like, that matchup, the physicality that Sabonis plays with, it's just not a good matchup for Anthony Davis. He doesn't react well to it. The one game the Lakers have won against the Kings since Sabonis got traded to Sacramento was a game that Anthony Davis missed. Thomas Bryant started for Anthony Davis in that game, and that's the one game they've won. But like they need to leapfrog Sacramento. It would be, all things being equal, it would be best to just leapfrog Phoenix and not even have to worry about a tiebreaker. They're not getting any help in the standings. They're 11 games above 500, and they are a 9 seed. Last year, 11 games above 500, you're a 4 seed. Like, the West has just been insanely competitive. The 4 seed is currently the Clippers. They are 19 games above 500. It's just ridiculous how good you have to be, but this is the situation the Lakers are in certain respects because of bad luck, in certain respects because they put themselves in this situation. But there's nothing you can do about it now other than try your best to close out strong, catch a little luck. But if nothing else, they're playing really well. They are playing like a team that you wouldn't want to play in the playoffs, and I guess unless you're Denver or Sacramento. They probably wouldn't mind playing the Lakers at all. Denver, I don't think, would mind playing anybody, quite frankly. But if nothing else, the Lakers look like a team that, if they had to, could win 2 road games to get into the playoffs if they have to. It will not be easy because they're going to be playing good teams. Or, you know, if they keep the 9 seed, they play 1 game at home, then 1 on the road. And maybe that helps them out. But it is not going to be easy for the Lakers moving forward. But again, this is the situation that they are in. You can come up with all sorts of different ways to contextualize it, place blame on it, blame Darin Ham for it. I know from hearing from plenty of Laker fans that is what's happening. All of that may be accurate, but at this point, it doesn't matter. All you can do right now is just try to win these games. 877-710-ESPN. If you want to weigh in, coming up next, we will hear from Darin Ham. There's a Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Postgame show
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
on 710 ESPN. Call now to be part of the Lakers postgame show and react on the game.
877-710 ESPN.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame.
Here's Beto Duran.
It's actually into Kamenetsky, but either way, the Lakers still get a 125-120 win over the Wizards in D.C., closing out a 6-game road trip on a not necessarily inspiring note. This was not a game that the Lakers are going to look back on necessarily with a lot of fondness or impressed with their work, but doesn't change the fact that they went 5-1 on this road trip. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They're playing very well. You know, there is some hope, I think, that Jared Vanderbilt could be back by the time the play-in begins, if the Lakers are not automatically, or if not, they're not in the playoffs by then. He is going to be reevaluated. The Lakers said, or Darin Ham said, either, I don't remember if it was officially from the Lakers or if this was something Darvin said pregame, but he's set for a reevaluation early next week. Hopefully that means him being available for the last couple games of the regular season. And look, if you are hoping for the Lakers to be in the playoffs, as I know every single person listening to this show is, you want Jared Vanderbilt to be available. And I guess the bright side, maybe a forced bright side, but a bright side nonetheless, of the Lakers having to do an extended play-in run, assuming they get through the play-in and into the playoffs, is it actually becomes an extended ramp-up period for Jared Vanderbilt. And I will say this right now, they are not going to have a long playoff run without Jared Vanderbilt. He's too important to this team. They need him defensively, even as well as the Lakers have played over the last 20 to 30 games. Their defense is a red flag, and it's obvious. And they need to tighten that up. The offense has become legitimately explosive. Teams will struggle to keep up with them, particularly if the Lakers avoid turning the ball over and giving those teams extra opportunities. But the defense does need to get ratcheted up. So the glass half full version of the Lakers having to go through an extended play-in would be hopefully an extended ramp-up period for Jared Vanderbilt. The Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health wants to remind everyone that there is free emotional support service, referrals, and counseling, crisis counseling available 24/7 at 1-800-854-7771 or at dmh.lacounty.gov. Darin Ham spoke after tonight's 125-120 win over the Wizards, and here's what he had to say.
Darvin, I'm sure winning was kind of the main point. You go 5-1 on the trip. At the same time, I'm sure you didn't want to put your starters back in for those final seconds. Do you use that as a teaching moment, and what do you say to the young guys in that kind of situation?
Definitely. I mean, it's unfortunate. There's no such when you're trying a young player, whether you're a rookie, second year, third year, whatever, or even a vet. You're trying to secure the win. Topsy-turvy game. We built a surplus. They climbed back into it. We built another surplus. Put guys in the game, and no matter what time it is, it's like there's no rite of passage to be in this league. Whether you're a player, coach, executive, it doesn't matter. And then even in ownership, there's no rite of passage. No one owes you anything. And when you're trying to establish yourself and the type of player you are, you have to approach each and every minute. I hate the term garbage time. Like playing in the NBA, there's only so many spots, and you get a chance to play, even if it's the last 50 seconds. You go hard. You go hard or you stay home, pretty much. It's like you're trying to establish yourself, and you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. I've been a part of a lot of teams, both as a player and a coach, where someone saw the way someone finished the game when it was maybe out of hand, but they still went out there like it's a tie ball game, and they put their best foot forward every single possession, or however many possessions were left. You just got to have that mindset, the mindset that nothing is given, everything is earned. So I'll sit down with a couple of our young players on Friday, but, I didn't want that. It's a teachable moment, but that definitely, I wasn't going to allow that to ruin the fact that, we did what we did on this 6-game trip. We had a little hiccup in Indiana, obviously, but the way we started, grueling game in Milwaukee, tough physical Memphis team, going through what we went through in Indiana, being able to bounce back, Brooklyn, Toronto, and now tonight, it's a great sign for our ball club the way we were able to push through.
So 5-1 on the trip, 9-10 overall. Just 5 games left. What is the message for the final push?
To continue to do things like we've been doing, on one day, one game at a time. That's it. Don't look too far ahead. If we go this certain number in the last 5 games, or we go this certain number, just attack each day and each game with as much juice as you possibly can to try to get the most positive results possible.
Darvin, AD was so dominant in the first quarter, and then for big stretches in the third and the fourth, their zone kind of, for whatever reason, you guys couldn't get him the ball. How crucial was it to kind of re-engage him late, and what do you think kind of kept that from happening in sort of the middle stretch?
Yeah, obviously they changed up their pitches a little bit, and I thought we just got a little stagnant, just kind of swung the ball around the perimeter, didn't really try to engage the zone like we eventually ended up doing. When someone plays a zone, you got to set screens. You got to make sure you get the ball in the paint, and you got to have floor balance, and you got to have a willingness to pass the ball and a willingness to shoot the ball. Quick decisions. So once we figured that out and we started getting into, some different sets that we got to combat the zone offensively, it was good. Guys, Rui got some shots playing behind the defense. Brian got in the middle of the paint. AD got some touches in the middle of the paint, and we were able to come out on the right side of it.
And that was Darin Ham speaking after tonight's 125-120 win over the Wizards. He mentioned how the Lakers eventually managed to break the Wizards zone, get some points in the paint. Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Locally owned and manufactured for over 65 years, Vista Paint is your home for factory direct, high-quality paint products. Vista Paint, your championship team of paint professionals for over 65 years. How's that for a transition? That is smooth. It's listening,
yes.
reacting.
Professional.
It was
total professional.
Damn professional, if I do say so myself. John in Inglewood wants to weigh in on what I was talking about with Jared Vanderbilt. What's up, John?
Hi, what's up, bro? I love the show, man. I love the show, boss, all right?
Sure.
But I heard you say something. I think they just said you sound like a professional, but when you said this, you didn't sound like a professional. You said that the Lakers will have a deep playoff run with Jerry.
No, that's not what I said. That is okay. Just off the top, I'll let you say what you want to say, but I want to correct you because you have it a little bit twisted. I didn't say they would have a deep playoff run with Vanderbilt.
They could.
They could. What I said was they will not have a deep playoff run without him. There's a difference. But go on.
Let me tell you. They will not have a deep playoff run with him or his twin brother, if he had one. You could get his uncle and all his cousins.
The whole Vanderbilt family.
Have a deep playoff run. First round out if they make the playoffs.
With or without him, you're saying?
With you, I just heard you could have 5 of him.
So are you saying they're not going to make a deep playoff run regardless, John? Like with or without him? Okay.
No matter what, it's no deep playoff run.
Okay.
Not at all.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, John. You may be right about that, but the reason I think they can't have a deep playoff run without him is there's too many things that this team needs that Vanderbilt specifically brings as one player. He's their most versatile defender, not named Anthony or Davis. He brings rebounding that they need. He brings a physicality that they need. Whether you think that's enough for a deep playoff run or not, they need what he actually brings.
He'll help make it a really good series.
Okay.
That's about it. A really good series.
Well, I mean,
and can I say just can I just say just one more thing?
Sure.
Just real quick, and I'm gonna hang up.
Do it.
Just one second. Everybody trying to figure out who to blame the Laker problems on. We try to blame it on the coach. We fired 2 coaches, I think. You know what I'm saying?
No, they fired a lot of coaches.
Yeah, the person you blame is the one nobody want to point the finger at. It's his team. The greatest player of all time said coaches don't play games. Players play games. We need to blame LeBron James. We tried to blame Westbrook. It's not Westbrook. Westbrook is over in the next locker room. Look what he's doing. Clippers look pretty good with Westbrook.
Real quick.
So let's blame LeBron James.
Really quick before you go, John, what is the reason you would put it on LeBron?
He's supposed to be the leader. You guys consider him maybe the greatest player of all times, which he's not to say far from, but he's not that.
Okay.
But if you have the greatest player who's supposed to be the greatest player in the world on your team, no matter what happens, he gets the blame.
All right. I appreciate the call, John. Thank you. I mean, here's the thing about what John's saying that I do think he's right. Whether you think LeBron truly deserves like the lion's share of the blame if the Lakers miss the playoffs or if the Lakers go one round and they're out, John is right that that's the burden that falls on any superstar who's the face of a franchise. Like, that's just what you sign up for. You sign up for that burden. You sign up for that blame. Like, whether it's accurate or not, whether if you really look back on the season and you really feel like, there's 3 or 4 other things that I think definitively hurt the season more than LeBron's play, whatever you thought of LeBron's leadership, whatever. It doesn't change the fact that this is the burden that falls on LeBron, I think falls on Anthony Davis, because that's just the way it works for superstars in a league that is as player-driven as the NBA. It's just the way it works. So in that respect, whether you think it truly falls on LeBron or not, John is right that it falls on LeBron because, it's just the deal. It's just the way it works. Coming up next, we'll hear from more Lakers, hear from more callers. We'll hear from LeBron. 877-710-ESPN. We'll also hear from Rui. Calm down, Funches. All right? I said we'll hear from players. I was trying to build up a little suspense about who it would be. Maybe it's LeBron.
You're truly
maybe
a professional trying to do a tease.
Maybe it's Colin Castleton. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to build up some suspense, a little bit of surprise, and now you're ruining the whole thing, Funchy.
Maybe it'll be Sedell 3. We never know.
Oh my God, that'll get Sliwa listening. He'll get Sliwa to call in if we're going to hear from Sedale 3. That's coming up on the Lakers postgame show, 710 ESPN.
Show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
On 710 ESPN. Call now to be part of the Lakers postgame show and react on the game.
877-710 ESPN.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame.
Trying to get Morales to call in?
Yeah. Yeah, trying to get him to do his dance.
Why are we playing Pony?
So, Genuine's from the D.C. area. So, what we do in the postgame is try to play songs from the team that we play, you know, like from musicians that were from that area. So, in the first segment, I don't know if you missed it, we played Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl's from that area.
I did not know that.
Yes. And I'll tell you something else, Andy. He went, I'm from that area as well. He went to high school and junior high with my sister.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, just make sure people know Lakers postgame show 125-120 win over the Wizards. I think I always assumed Dave Grohl was from Seattle.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, he was with Nirvana. Nirvana is, in a lot of ways, the face of Seattle music.
The grunge.
The grunge movement.
Whatever.
I think, you know, maybe you'd argue Pearl Jam, though they got a little bit of San Diego in them. Maybe you'd argue Soundgarden, Jimi Hendrix. But I think Nirvana is the face of Seattle music. Mm-hmm. I think because of that, I always assumed Grohl was from Seattle.
Yeah, so I think after high school, he took off to Seattle.
Okay.
That's what happened.
All right.
Yeah. Shout out to my sister.
Was he cool then?
She said he was really cool.
Because he seems like a really cool dude now.
Yeah, she said he was really quiet, though.
Interesting. He's not quiet now.
No, not at all, man.
Definitely not quiet now. I had no idea Genuine was from
he's from the Northern Virginia, D.C. area. So, yes, he's,
I did know it was Pony, though. I did know that was him. Again, the Morales theme over at 710 ESPN. The Lakers winning over the Wizards, concluding the 6-game road trip. They won tonight, 125-1 on this road trip, playing really well of late, but unfortunately making very little moves up in the standings. Need a break from the everyday. Well, fans, it might be your lucky day because tonight Fantasy Springs Resort Casino is giving away 2-night stay plus dinner, golf, or bowling for 2. Make any day your lucky day. Book now at fantasysprings.com. LeBron James, we have LeBron up here. He spoke after tonight's win, 125-120. Here's what he had to say.
Well, it wasn't always pretty, but I suppose this is the kind of keep the main thing type of thing, right?
Absolutely. Last game on a 11-day road trip, 10-day road trip, whatever. Come off a back-to-back, getting in late last night. You do whatever you need to do to take it down to win the game. So, I mean, it took all 48 minutes, and it's a good trip for us. Hell of a trip for us.
So we're gonna play LeBron here. He's gonna take a call after LeBron, and then we're gonna play Rui after the call, and then you.
You know, his experience, and I guarantee they'd be better next time if they put in that situation.
So 5-1 in this trip, 9-10 overall. You guys have at least put yourself in position to move up. If a couple other teams start losing a game or two, where do you kind of focus as you get home, get some rest for 5 more games?
Our focus is on our next opponent and not what's going on in the rankings. Those will decide at the end of the season where everybody will be at. So our next opponent is Cleveland, but I'm obviously, you know, we're excited to kind of get a day off and just kind of, you know, get away from the game. I know I am. Tomorrow will be a great time to get away from the game, and it'd be great for us to have these 2 days in between games so we can kind of get our body back, you know, acclimated to the West Coast after being on the East Coast for, you know, this time up here. So it's good. It's been good.
What do you like most about where this team's been at over the last 10 games or so?
I think offensively we've been very consistent with our ball movement, sharing the ball. We still got to crack down on some of the unforced turnovers, but, you know, we've been all in a good rhythm, playing off one another. I think defensively we've been, good at times. We could be a lot better at times, but, you know, when we need to get our stops, we've got them. We got it done throughout this whole trip.
The season is so long. You go through so many different iterations. Do you feel like the twists and turns you guys have been through have made this group in particular stronger than before?
I think health has helped a lot too. You know, we've started to get healthier. I told you guys early on when we were struggling, it's hard to have any chemistry, any camaraderie, or that type of on the floor when you're changing lineups and guys are in and out of lineups, guys are hurt, guys are in, different starting lineup, different rotations. The best thing that's, lately is that we've had pretty much the same starting lineup, unless I've been on a game or whatever. AD took out the Memphis game, but for the most part, it's been D'Lo, AR, myself, Rui, AD. We had that group, and then we know when guys are coming in. We know when Spence is coming in, he's usually grabbing D'Lo at one certain point, or AR. We know Jackson's coming in at the start of the second to get AD, TP or Max come get me at a certain point. That helps because you get a good rhythm, you get a good chemistry with groups that you're going to be playing with, so you know what you want to get into and run into offensively and defensively. So I think that has a lot to do about our success.
Yeah, and that was LeBron talking after tonight's 125-120 win over the Wizards, taking the Lakers to 11 games above 500 and mind-bogglingly still a 9 seed. To put in perspective just how unusual this is, last year the Lakers would be a 4 seed with this record. Now they are a 9 seed, and they're not even necessarily a comfortable 9 seed. Like, they don't even have the 9 seed completely sewed up. They are just 2 games ahead of the Warriors. They're sitting well for the 9 seed. I don't want to start catastrophizing here, but it just speaks to how insane everything has been this year in the Western Conference. Hopefully they can get a little bit of luck, a little bit of help from the Cavaliers, who are playing tonight in Phoenix with 4 minutes and change left in the first quarter. Phoenix is up 22-16, but obviously a lot of time left, and Donovan Mitchell returned to play in this game. So that's a big deal for Cleveland, and Cleveland needs this win as well because they are jockeying in the upper half of the Western Conference, trying to get, if possible, to a 2 seed. So this game has motivation on Cleveland's side as well. Hopefully that motivation leads to a win for the Cavaliers and some help for the Lakers against the Suns. They are currently a game back on Phoenix. They have the tiebreaker over Phoenix, so that's good. But it's just, man, it has been brutal this year in the Western Conference. And yes, the Lakers have had some struggles in the early part of this season that there are a variety of explanations for. Like LeBron specifically, for example, talked about the lack of continuity in the lineup. Some of that has been dictated by injuries. Some of that has been dictated, frankly, by indecision and bad decision by Darin Ham in terms of who to play, how to come up with a rotation that works. Darvin spent a lot of this season, candidly, I think, avoiding what worked last year for reasons that I don't quite understand. I mean, not even necessarily with the starting lineup, but just minutes involving the holdovers from last year. It took an awfully long time to land on this starting 5 and a philosophy of trying to put your best players together for as many minutes as possible. But we're at where we're at, and that's what the Lakers are looking at right now. If nothing else, what you can lean on if you're a Laker fan or if you are a Laker, an actual Laker, is this team's playing really well right now. And they've put themselves in a less than ideal position when it comes to trying to make a playoff run. Hell, they actually have to get into the playoffs to begin with. But they at least are playing in a way that I guarantee most teams in the league, I don't want to say they're scared of the Lakers because I think that's overstating it, and I don't think NBA teams really get scared of other teams anyway. But I doubt many teams want to play them the way that they're playing right now. And that's the best you could ask for right now. Rui Hachimura, in his first game back in D.C. since getting traded by the Wizards to the Lakers, he spoke afterwards. Here's what he had to say.
I know when you're in the NBA season, it's so hard to ever step back and reflect on anything. Just ignore him. Did you reflect at all, though? I mean, being back here today on kind of what this last year plus is
like? No, for sure. I feel a little weird. I was here for 5 years and then came back. I don't think I haven't got back since then.
Right?
Yeah, this is the first time. So, and yeah, it's just a little different, but everybody will come back, and I know these people that work here, they're from Wizards or whatever. So, they came to say hi, and it was great to see them. I miss them, and yeah, it was a great time in the year. So yeah.
Rui, LeBron was one last one for us. LeBron was talking about the continuity that you've had now with this group. Obviously, you played some together in the spring and the run through the playoffs. But what is just getting back to that unit with Austin and with D'Lo, with LeBron and AD, and kind of the comfortability that you have? How much do you think that's had to do with this winning streak?
Yeah, we're just comfortable playing each other. Offensively, defensively, we already. We have a good chemistry. You guys can see, we already had that in the playoff, and then we find that he got back. I know the beginning of the season we were kind of, injury and all the line and the chest and all that, so we didn't have the time. But now we got back together and right on time. So we just gotta keep building it and then get ready for the playoff.
And I don't know if you keep track of your shooting percentages, but in March and kind of continue on to today, it's super high. Have you felt that rhythm is a part of that continuity, just with where your shots are coming from and how smooth it is?
It's just the playing with these Braun, AD, they get a lot of attention, so I get a lot of wide open show. It's easy. It's a practice show. I practice with the Phil, all the time, and we always talk about, just gotta be the guy shooting those threes, because with this lineup, I gotta be the one, be open. They can guard, they can't leave AR, D'Lo, him, AD, and LeBron. So it's just it makes it easier for me. Yeah.
And that was Rui Hachimura, who had 19 points in this game, 125-120 win by the Lakers over the Wizards. Rui has been playing extremely well of late, particularly since getting put into the starting lineup. It is time now for the kids in the back with the social media. What do we got, kids?
All right, AK, just one kid back here today. Graham checking in. So, yeah, the Lakers, they just wrapped up their third straight win, but around here, it's time for Dodger baseball. And right when the Lakers season is heading towards the playoffs and the Dodgers are starting, I always love to listen to this clip to get started. DeAndre, go ahead and hit that.
Do you recognize this man? No, he's not a very tall, slim right-hander. He's not somebody who's trying out for the Dodgers. That's Kobe Bryant of the world champion Lakers, who threw out the first ball tonight. Gets a hug from Dave Hansen, and he got an ovation from this crowd. What a brilliant basketball player, young Kobe Bryant.
Leading off for the San Diego Padres.
Just absolutely love hearing that to start the baseball season.
What's really fun is that clip. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. They play it a lot on Spectrum Sportsnet with part of their Dodgers coverage, or even I think the Lakers coverage as well. When Kobe went to that one playoff game.
Yep.
And he is incredibly excited as the Dodgers are making great plays. There's a home run.
Yasiel
Puig. Kobe's in that Dodger jersey, and he's high-fiving it up with random fans. How fun would it be, by the way, to just show up to that game and it's like, oh, I knew these were good seats that I had, but I'm sitting next to Kobe. Like, you're just randomly sitting next to Kobe Bryant at a game.
Truly blue heaven, that would be.
That's got to be pretty awesome for those fans. Or to just end up high-fiving Kobe. You're celebrating the Dodgers winning a playoff game, celebrating Yasiel Puig home run, whatever. But, at that point, Kobe's just a Dodger fan. He's just a dude in the stands. He's still Kobe. But, you're randomly high-fiving Kobe. I remember one time, Denzel Washington is a regular at Laker games. Everybody knows that.
Oh, my God, I get starstruck when I see him there.
Well, this one time, I think he was with Brad Turner from the LA Times. BT, he's been covering the Lakers forever. He's also one of those guys who knows everybody.
Yeah, they're dinner buddies or something, right?
Yeah, BT, I think, and Denzel. I don't know if they're super close friends.
They're like stunt doubles. But it's a stunt double, huh?
They know each other. I mean, they definitely have a rapport. They know each other. I just don't want to overstate it like they're super close if they're not. They may be. I have no idea. But Denzel went with BT into the media room during halftime of some game, and I end up sitting at a table with bunch of other writers, and Denzel. And we're just talking hoops with Denzel like he's just a regular guy. He could not have been any more chill, any more approachable, down to earth, really cool, knows his NBA. You know, beyond just the Lakers, he knows his NBA. He's a big sports fan, period. But like stuff like that, when a star just ends up literally like, you know, Us Magazine says one of us, it's pretty awesome. Playing a little Marvin Gaye.
That's right. From the D.C. area.
Another guy, we were talking about Dave Grohl, who I always associate with Seattle because of Nirvana. I always, in my head, Marvin Gaye is a Detroit native because he's one of like the faces of Motown. And people may not know this, he tried out for the Detroit Lions.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he did.
No, I didn't know this. No.
I had no idea.
There was a great ESPN article about it. Who wrote it? I want to say Justin Tinsley wrote it. Great writer for ESPN.
Yes.
I want to say Justin Tinsley wrote this piece. My apologies if I'm misattributing it. But it was just during this period where Marvin Gaye had a lot of unsettled periods in his life. He was a very troubled guy in general. But during a period where I think he was disillusioned, dissatisfied with music, and he tried out for the Lions. I don't think he ever really had a real
I'm sorry,
shot.
did he like make music first and then try out?
Yes.
Oh my God. So
Yes.
he didn't do this before the music.
Oh, no. This was when Marvin Gaye was Marvin Gaye.
Whoa.
Yes. It's a great piece. People should Google it. Easy to find. It definitely is ESPN, and I'm like 90% sure Justin Tinsley wrote it. Really great piece. But yeah, a fascinating part of Marvin Gaye's life. And this was when Marvin Gaye was Marvin Gaye. This is not like pre-music.
Like he was like 18 or something. No.
Right. Or like, like struggling in music, thought maybe I should go a different route. Marvin Gaye was Marvin Gaye.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Again, I don't think he had a real true chance of making the team, but it's just like a really interesting chapter in what was a really interesting life. So, again, the Lakers win 125-120 over the Wizards, hoping to get some help from the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are down 14 points with the first quarter coming to a close.
Not looking
in
good.
Phoenix. Not looking great, but still 3 quarters to go. Our next broadcast will be Saturday. The Lakers get a couple of games off, and then they face the Cleveland Cavaliers. Coverage starts with pregame at 11 a.m., followed by a 12:30 tip. This has been the Lakers Postgame.